For March 10, 2022. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do a quick roll call from my right to the left. Eric Prime, Mark Beadle, Rob Davis. We do have a quorum, so we will continue on with business. New business and updates. Land acquisition update is the first item. We are complete with the title work. We are complete with phase one, and we are waiting on a survey. The issue there was cost versus timing. It was about double the price to have a survey completed in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and half the price to go 5 to 6. So we went half the price because we're still well within our due diligence period. That ends in June, I believe. So we have the time to do that and decided to save a few dollars. So, and both firms were reputable. So that was an issue. So really, we're just kind of in a holding pattern until we get all the due diligence items done and decide whether or not to move forward.
What is the end of the due diligence period?
It's
June.
June. I don't remember if there were options or not.
It's fairly flexible. We can extend it. The target is definitely the June date.
Right, and I know I've had multiple conversations with the broker for the seller, and they're anxious to get going. So they're just kind of waiting on us, although there were title issues that they are working on that I checked on that with him 2 days ago, and that's still not done, but they're sort of in a position where they can't get things released without a closing date. So it's kind of cart before the horse situation, but there were enough title issues that required their work in terms of just really mortgages, tax liens, and things of that nature that we want cleared up prior to closing. So they know what their homework is. They're just kind of waiting on us to finish ours. So
When we get the phase 2 order,
we have a quote. We did not order it. Yeah, I think we probably should.
yeah, I spoke with all the way and got the more detail, and we need to order it.
In your opinion, we do need it. Yeah, I was kind of on the fence, but you may know more than I do now. So.
Yeah, we need to do it. I don't believe that there's one issue with the west property that's probably worse that has to do with the existing gas station.
Right.
And not anything that we can do about it. We just need to have the testing, the next phase done.
Right.
I don't believe it that he told me it was not going to be big dollars for phase 2. I don't know that I saw it.
I have it.
Is it basically petroleum or is there dry?
It's all petroleum.
It's petroleum.
It's all, everything's petroleum. The stuff to the west is actually a little bit more concerning. But it's the existing gas station that I believe went down a remediation path and then stopped and didn't finish it out. So there's an open case against them with items that is kind of out there lingering. So that's why on the west side, the east side is much more minor.
Because I think there used to be a gas station on that corner.
But it didn't get closed and the tank got removed, I believe, so it's not a, I mean, anything called big alarm. Again, we're talking most likely commercial use on both these properties, so.
Yeah.
Petroleum is not good, but it's not the end of the world.
Right.
The estimate is 7,450.
Do we do that by consensus, or do we need to take a vote?
They already gave you authorization to do all due diligence, so I would include it in that.
All right, let's do due diligence.
So we'll have that for your signature today.
And is that the quote for remediate or just drilling?
That's just the
The
phase
phase.
2.
Okay, yeah, no
drilling.
remediation.
No, that's just more in-depth testing. And yeah, as Andrew said, the phase 1 showed some migration of petroleum products more on the west side than the east side, and that may be something that gets cleared up pretty easily if that work that the gas station had started just gets completed. it's just, as Andrew said, it's an open case and they didn't finish the remediation that they were, all the recording that they were supposed to do.
So the good or the bad news is that it wasn't caused by the property itself, it's the neighboring property, so they would ultimately be responsible for that cleanup.
Right.
Whatever needs to be done, even if there's cleanup on our site, it would be on the neighboring property.
How does that work? I mean, you'd have to sue them presumably.
I'll explain it offline, it's very complicated.
I figured as much.
We can boycott the pizza, gas station pizza. All right,
Names again?
and I think, does anybody else have any updates on land acquisition? I think that's just where we are. We're just struggling through the due diligence period and trying to get to the end of the line. Next item, plaza design.
We had our, just our preliminary, we did all the, signed all paperwork to hire REA last time. I had a preliminary meeting with them last week. Just a design meeting. They, we went over kind of our thoughts on what we wanted to use it for, the things we wanted included on it, preliminary budget type, what's your budget kind of information, just so they know where to go with that. There's several documents we're going to share with them as far as past surveys we've done of the community. They, in their, their process, they have several community outreach type of things. We've done several of those already for other parks. So we're going to give them all that information and then possibly revisit later in the design phase of all of this, community suggestions and things like that. So it was really just a preliminary to kind of kick it off and get it started, get some ideas flowing. So that was about it on that. So it's off and moving now.
Any questions for Robin? Okay, thanks for staying on top of that. Next item, updates from Department of Development.
In your packets, you have the permit update from the development department. You'll see a new permit issued at South Road Commons. And there's an addition listed that is for the church that is just north of the fire station on 135. Is working on an addition there. The permit activity, the Grove Restaurant has completed their permitting and building process. Expect them to officially open if they have not already done a grand opening.
Is that where Nora's was?
Correct.
And the South Road Commons permitted here was at the building that's under construction next to our table.
Does that have tenants lined up there?
I'm not sure if it's
I
completed.
think they at least have some.
I think they have some.
Restaurant.
Yeah, it's the, yeah.
That's what.
Okay, that's what I was going with. Yeah.
Big ones?
No, same.
Not the same.
Not the same. Yeah, that's St. Peter.
They're so
They used to serve that.
Wishful thinking maybe on it.
Yeah.
All right, well, I know where my head is. Yeah, anyway, any other updates, Julie? Or?
They continue to see a lot of residential development. Planning Commission is still active and seeing cases, so.
All right, then the next item is resolutions, but Helen, we're not quite ready to do that one yet, correct? Working on the leads. All right, then we need to approve the minutes from our February 10 meeting. Everybody had the opportunity to review those.
Hey, Eric, real quick, what was the comment we needed, what needs to be done before we approve?
The lease mostly. I think that's the main outstanding item. Andrew and I met with Mr. Umbarger a couple weeks ago. He had some additional issues with the draft lease that we provided him, and that's getting tweaked. So,
Please, and then on your end, what exact investment you want to put into
Yeah, that's a big blank in the resolution is our number, but I don't know that we know what Taxman's costs were estimated for the thing. Does the town need to get our own estimates, or are we gonna go with theirs?
Are we trying to put our number in and if he takes it back, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, the way the resolution is set up, we have to specify a cost number that we're willing to advance for that work and to complete the parking lot. And then the question I remember from before was whether or not any of that alley work that's already been approved and in process is going to cover some of those costs. And I don't think we had an answer on that yet.
I think we were hoping, I think we need to come up with a number for the parking separate from the alley. Whether or not those costs are covered or not, or we get savings because of the mobilization is irrelevant to the cost of what.
But yeah, I just didn't know if there were any cost savings or overlaps between the work that was being done in the
I
alley.
think there probably will be, but I think we're not far enough along, and we don't have a full design of the parking yet, so I think that's something that we are ready to get the lease done, so I think we can just give an estimated dollar amount.
Yeah, it's a not to exceed as it's drafted right now.
So do we want to use maybe the taxman number and go a little higher than that in terms
I
of?
think so, for starters, and then say that maybe it can be, swap through a language discussion on the lease right now, but maybe we could say to be further clarified upon final project being completed. You know, when it's all said and done, we'll know the dollar amount for certain.
Are you okay with putting that?
Yeah,
caveat in?
I think it's okay if our NTE in the resolution doesn't necessarily match the sliding scale number in the lease. I don't have a problem with that.
So we're substantively, like, where do we end up with number?
We're close, I guess. He just had some concerns that he wanted to have some things clarified in the lease in terms of his ability to develop the property in the future and what that would do to him, if he'd be required to find alternative parking, if he was going to take that parking away. He just wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to get kind of whipsawed, or that the town would hold it against him and not approve his development because he was taking away our parking. So I think that kind of covers it, I think. Those were his main issues. So we're trying to craft some language in the lease that will give him some comfort. All right, then, Ellen, do you have the taxman estimate?
I think so.
Maybe that's our base number then for the fill in the blank, but go a little higher than that just to give us some leeway. All right, well, let's shoot for the next meeting then, maybe to have the lease
Oh, yes.
wrapped up and get the resolution voted on. Great. Any other discussions on that topic? And then, so we're back to the minutes. We need a motion to approve those.
A motion to approve.
We have a motion by Robin. We have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Mark. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please. Right to left.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, minutes are approved. Last item on the agenda is budget approval. There's some nice copies of checks with my wacky signature on them. Was there anything new that we needed to approve?
There's deputy, the legal counsel,
For Barnes and
Spence.
Thornburg?
and then Barnes and Thorn.
All right.
So yeah, two.
Do I have a motion to approve the Barnes and Thornburg invoice?
So moved.
Second? Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Aye.
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 There were two items. I don't know if you saw that. There were two items in there.
Sorry, I saw the B and T one. I didn't.
Yeah, there was also the legal counsel for
Oh,
deputy, for Ellen. Yeah.
Ellen, we do not want to leave you out.
Thank you.
stop the meeting.
I guess we need another motion. We can't amend that one because it already got voted on. So I do have a motion to approve the Ellen's bill.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Ellen will come back for the next meeting. Any other agenda items, any new business, anything not on the notice
A
agenda?
quick question, for clarification, because I don't have it right in front of me. Does our TIF district go all the way to Stone's Crossing now? On the west side of 135? For some reason, I was thinking.
On the west side, I don't think.
It doesn't include the,
old
you know, where the marsh
The
was.
old Marshford and all that. Said you say it doesn't do.
It doesn't include that because that's in the city. Greenwood annexed.
Oh,
the
It
market.
it
More
does
of the
not
west side
include
is,
the marsh
up
area.
to-
We have it all.
Oh, we do have the whole west side. That's right.
That's
Yeah,
Stone's Crossing.
depends what side of the road you're
Greenwood grabbed everything on the east side, all the way down to Whiteland.
I mean, I know it's on the incremental difference, it's on the difference, but I'm already starting to hear some stuff that's gonna be happening up there. So I don't know how I think they said that, hey, as we're in the community, kind of keep talking out there. So I know it's a pretty quick process to expand our area or whatever, but I'm just throwing that out there.
We had a discussion about that because of incremental values, because the marsh had already been developed.
Well, it could be something significant there, you know, so.
Yeah.
It would be worth having it down the road whenever that time comes.
Well, if it is already in it, then the buildings that just went up would be adding to your balance sheet.
I'm pretty sure it's not in there.
Yeah,
It's not,
it stops.
The goodwill and everything never got in.
So it stops at the
Smoky Road.
Smoky Row. Yeah, I also know that there's some potential activity with a Clarity Crossing that might be coming down the pike as well. So it probably would be good to expand. Just south of Aspen Trace, that property there, I think in the next.
Do we want to get that on our next agenda or wait to make sure something happens?
I have Heidi scheduled for next month to come back and talk about financing, options. to kind of
Let's
get
put a
that ball.
potential expansion of
Okay,
the 135 corridor.
and with that, since that's calculated based on January 1, we would just need to complete that process by the end of the year.
Right.
For the TIF expansion, if we choose to.
All right, good deal. So we'll put that on the April agenda then. All right, fantastic. No other business, then I will adjourn the meeting. Next meeting, Thursday, April 14, 7:30. I know.
It's at the back. Sorry, I forgot to grab it.